Grandma Mickey.
She did what?
She lived through an aneurysm, a stroke, unscathed, by the way, breast cancer, and she's getting old, so she's fucking everything up. She's like her kneecaps. She busted her kneecap last year. She's got to have surgery on her arm because she just fell and compound fractured her arm.
My grandma just broke her hip and doesn't know how or why. Like, she never fell. She just is so old that her bones are just breaking.
No shit.
Yeah, she had hip surgery at like 98.
No way.
She was walking the next day. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that is the thing with like hip surgeries and hip replacements. They get you up that day. Like, get up. Time to go.
Get up.
Are you gonna just sit around
like a baby giraffe?
Yeah, you're
get
half.
Up.
Yeah, you're like half robot now. But
my grandma made the best mac and cheese, and I remember in my adult life asking my mom how she made it, and she's like, "Bitch, it's Velveeta and shells." It's like there's no recipe to it. It was the absolute best mac and cheese.
Same thing. Pancakes, like everything a grandma makes is better. It's out of the box. She just picked it up, but whatever. What did you guys have? What was your grocery store?
I guess
mine was Albert. Dillon's?
Pretty much just Walmart, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, my grandma's from a really small town, so anything where she shopped was there. They had like a farmer's market, but I didn't really fuck with fruits and veggies as a kid. So,
you know what's funny is I was just talking on Tuesday with my dad because I didn't know if I manufactured truth or if it was actually true, but I always said, I didn't know what steak was until I was about 12. I thought it was hamburger on a George Foreman grill, and I spent most of my life eating zebra cakes and Pop-Tarts and that. And I brought that up to my dad on Tuesday. I was like, am I making this up, or is this the truth? No, that's for sure. No. He's like, I watch you feed Alessia broccoli and carrots, and we didn't have that shit in the house.
I haven't had a bowl of cereal since I realized like what nutrition is. But that was all I ate. Cereal, Pop-Tarts, like the glazed little toaster strudels.
Oh, toaster strudels.
That shit's all like what I eat for dessert now. When I'm like trying to cheat, like late at night, I'll have a bowl of cereal.
Man, you've changed.
I know.
You've changed, man.
It's tough.
5 short years, you go from trailer park tacos with bologna and and cheese tacos. And bologna, cheese, and tortilla rolled up, put up in the microwave.
Yeah, I mixed up bologna and eggs for breakfast one morning. My mom came slapping me in her face. She's like, "No, not in my house." She's like, "You might be trashy, but not here."
No bologna up in this house. You were that close? That bologna was the tipping point.
Bologna was it, man. That was the final straw. But yeah, no, I'm...
Nothing about that spam.
No, see, we never mess with spam.
No, I don't know anything about spam.
I know
Spam
nothing.
and condensed milk. Let me take y'all to the hood one day.
For real?
Spam, man, you run out of milk, you just get that little can of Carnation condensed milk with some water. Cereal was on.
Damn.
I'll tell you about it in another podcast.
I didn't know what the functionality of condensed milk was until just now.
Yeah, I didn't know that you could just water it down and have milk.
Milk in the hood.
It's hood milk.
Hood milk, yeah.
Hood milk.
Y'all never heard of government cheese?
Yeah, I mean, I know what government cheese is, but I don't mess around with it.
I was told to cut it, but it made bomb-ass grilled cheese.
Maybe next week needs to be a cooking show. Like
Oh, you do a hood cooking show?
A hood cooking show?
We need to do that. I concur.
Teaching us hood cooking?
I like that. Okay, so obviously, what did you say? Our guest didn't show up today.
Yeah, Donald Trump was unable to make it, so it's just the two of us now. Busy's going to be chiming in because his XLR's in his truck.
Yeah, I forgot a piece of equipment, so I'm just going to do loud Tourette's type yelling in the background.
And you can tell he's been in production because he doesn't just slightly, he makes sure that the mics pick up. So he knows he's in there. So this is good. And the reason why Biz is forgetting everything is because Biz doesn't go to sleep because we're too busy to go to sleep right now.
Yeah, it's good.
This is a good time. This is a good time of life.
Yeah, I've noticed me expanding my day. Like I hate mornings, but I've turned into a morning person just for the extra hours because the amount of calls that we're on, and it's just the only time I could really get anything done is like that, like 6:30 to 9 realm, I feel like, and then the rest is just putting out fires, and it's
wild. And
that's what it feels like.
It's funny because I'm a little bit different than that. I'm on the opposite side because now that we're in the summer, my daughter, Alessia only has school from on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So Tuesday, Thursday, I don't have to wake up early to wake her up, get her ready, get her off to school. So knowing that I work scheduled 16 hours on Tuesdays and then also work Saturdays and do all of these other things, like those are my days I get to sleep in until 7:30.
Yeah.
So I'm sleeping in on those extra days to catch back up.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I think what I'd like to talk about, since it is just the two of us, and we've never really done this, is just like getting started. And I was talking to a friend about this just like yesterday, and how we were really two freelancers considered a company for like 3 years, and then didn't even have any sort of like how to grow a business or an agency mindset. We were just getting what was done right in front of us. And actually, the person I was talking to is Neil Garcia, who's one of our newest clients, and he was asking like, what's your background and how do you know how to do this? Because I was sending over some videos that we've done and a lot of things that we've taught ourselves, and we're so specialized in a lot of things. It's like we're
the master. What is it? The jack of all trades, but masters of none.
Yeah, and that's what I think. Like you have to figure out what you want to kind of be the all-star in, and then let that other stuff hire the aces to fill those gaps.
But it's difficult because you can't just go get aces. You can't. We've seen this when we hired an ace that helped grow our company, but there's also the hierarchy structure of building organically and being the thought leader and the leader, where there is an element of leadership of being open to learn new lessons and being taught by everyone who's around you because they're better. But finding that balance of when the student thinks they're going to teach the sensei how to run a business just because they're better at one element, that's something. When you look at people who are starting businesses when they're 40, well, they have 20 years of experience, and although it's a new business, okay, we'll talk about, okay, I need this guy, let's hire him on. But when we came together and we were mid-20s, a stretch, mid-20s.
Right out of college, which you don't really learn anything from. So
yeah.
Especially when, for what I went to school for, is nothing in this realm. And then it's just like, all right, figure it out.
Got to learn.
Here's a project that we closed. Here's 5 items that we've never really like taken on. Figure it out.
Yeah.
So because being such a lean team, you do it.
And being a lean team and operating like freelancers, we didn't have any budget for anything ever. And we're learning that slowly. But I think where we are now in early 30s is very far ahead, to be honest. And I see that because when we're speaking with the company we're proposing right now, this is a $10 million company with, if you took their combined experience in their industry, you're talking hundreds of years with their entire team. And we're able to have those real conversations. Here's what we've learned over the years. Here's how to hit market. Here's how to, and it doesn't have to do with marketing, or anyone who's watching doesn't have to do with that, but we can have those conversations because we know what doesn't work.
Yeah, and we can say no to things too, which I think is the most valuable tool that we've ever, like the first time we did it, we're like, that's not our specialty. That was it. We didn't have to go reinvent the wheel on something that was completely new to us.
And not say no to say no. And I think there are a lot of people who start off, especially in the creative realm, they're like, well, they'll say no, whether just because maybe the client is not going to pay enough or whatever that may be. And that's understandable. But when I'm going into these initial discovery questions and these discovery calls that we're having a lot of now, I've got to figure out why this is not going to work. What are the pitfalls we're about to get into? Because it's so easy to get caught up in like the motion and the opportunity that you don't figure out why it's not going to work until it doesn't work. And so when we're having these conversations, especially this week, I'm going, Okay. These questions we're asking, you tell us about your company or what makes you different or how do you operate or what are your pain points. I'm not asking that because I want to go, oh, okay, this is going to help me develop this video. I was going, what is your culture? And is your culture going to fit with our culture and what we do? So when we say this isn't a fit, then we know why.
Yeah, and I think that's, I love even just there has to be that mesh in culture too. We had back-to-back calls this week. One with a company that we're not sure if the culture is going to work, if it's a little, they're maybe too serious and too old school, yeah. But then the next call we got off and it was just lively. We were excited to work with these people, and we would probably stretch the boundaries a little more to work with them than we would.
You know what? I was thinking the same thing because the first one would be a much more lucrative client and a much more stable client. And it would be someone who we know if we just do our job and we do what we say we're going to do, this could be years and years of something that could help us scale and grow. But I'm more apprehensive about that one than I am the second call, which might require us to go leaner than we would want to, with the opportunity to just have some fun.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're sitting in the same.
Yeah, just work with somebody you're excited to be in front of. You think you can learn from. Just the right energy is so important, and it's so contagious when it comes to like working. You need somebody you can trust, somebody that you're excited to be around, and somebody that I guess trusts you too. That's the biggest thing, is they trust that they're hiring the best at what we do, and they're not gonna micromanage or make sure that they have a touch on everything. They trust that.
Yeah, and I think that trust is like a long-term savings account, or it's like playing the market, not for today, but play it for later. And what I mean by that is they trust us now because we're in the journey, but we're starting to see dividends of roughing it. And as we continue to grow that, the law of compounding interest is going to prove that we're going to get better and better and better at what we do and have these new, fresh ideas, and we learn from it. And the trust, I think, will compound as long as we just stay true to who we are.
And I think it goes back to like a little bit of, it's also our confidence in what we do. We know that we can provide them the right tools to make more money. Speaking on the company that you said, is we may have to start more lean, but we know that we can scale with them, and that's more important than jumping into a company with $1 billion that is going to sue you if they don't like the exact results that you get.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where finding the niche is so important too. And just recently learning, okay, for instance, 6 months ago, if we were quoting out this same company we're quoting out right now, I would have been quick to go, okay, let's throw in some SEO. Let's throw in a lot of targeted ads. Let's throw in a lot of these things, even though they're not our specialty, they're not our bread and butter. But now we're able to go, but hang on, what are we going to kill at? Let's not put that in the proposal, because you're right. The companies we're now working with, they'll fucking sue you, man. I mean, if you can't execute on what you say and you overextend to oversell what you're doing. Not to say that we were overextending before, but that mentality of we're just going to figure it out anyways, and we're gonna bite the bullet to bring someone else in that may kill 150% of the profit margin. Well, we've learned that where we can't set ourselves up for failure 6 months from now.
And I think also our team that we have kind of dictates our offering. We know, because of the team that we have who kills it at what they do, we know we're going to have no problems executing that. And as we continue to like bring in like acquisitions, the white label company we're talking about, and other pieces that will expand our offering, we can simply get into that, but not overextending our offering right now, and just focusing on what we know our team's going to kill every day.
Yeah. And look, we continuously reinvent, I suppose, to a certain degree, who we are. And I think every company does, because they find that, okay, this opportunity could go here. And what I've noticed less and less of is us trying to determine who we're going to be versus who we are and becoming the best at that, and then taking that where it goes with us. And I feel like that's a new revelation over the past months. Right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is what we do.
Yeah, I've never really felt like we've been as specialized in our offering as we are now. And I feel like it feels like we're sprinting right now. We're really going to where we need to go instead of kind of trying to figure it out.
And because of the clients that we're working with, it opens that ability to be more content marketing driven versus a digital agency versus ad agency versus
direct response. It's that brand awareness and really just, that you're going to get the best looking work with us. That you're going to get the right messaging. That you're going to get just high quality and then great customer service also.
Yeah.
So, and I think that direct response, which is what we're moving more into as we continue to expand, and it'll be an offering that we're going to kill in a few months. But I think just as we focus on what we are right now, it's so natural.
And we know the partnerships to develop instead of trying to build a team to learn all of this shit all over again. Let's be the best at providing the interactive elements and then partner up with people who are the best at putting those elements in front of people and converting them. And so what we're doing is we're creating this really cool team that is a full puzzle with pieces that can be moved to create something different. It feels right.
It feels so right. I just like thinking about when I first started and we were doing everything for $250 a month. And I remember when I the first contract that we had, I remember thinking like, wow, they're paying $250 for this. I can't even imagine, like, you couldn't even, you would starve. There's no way that we could handle anything that we were doing before, but because we were living like cockroaches and I was living in a trailer park and you were living at your parents while your house was being built, it was like we were able to just bootstrap it and we just had to learn so much. We never had that person who had been in the industry to teach us everything. It was always just fail, figure it out, fail, figure it out.
And I can't decide if it was ignorance, luck, ego, or what. But a smart person goes with somebody who's been in the industry for 100 years and says, how would I do this? We're starting it, we're getting into it. What kind of info do we get? But instead, we never did that. We're just going to develop it. We're going to learn it. We're going to make it our own. But I'm curious what your view is, because I have one view, but what's your view on why we didn't just connect with somebody that knew what they were doing?
I think it was a little bit of ignorance. I think it was just, we were so new to it. We wanted to figure it out on ourselves, and I wanted to teach myself it. And obviously the best way to learn is by failing. So I think it was a little bit of just not really knowing what we needed at the time. And we were doing enough to get by and it felt right. And we had all these crazy ambitious goals that were really never really probably even realistic. I remember when we chalked up how many clients we would have to be $1 million company at our rate. It was like 166 clients that we were doing these tiny little plans for, and it was the two of us.
Yeah. Yeah, it was entirely, and what we thought was going to happen was completely different. It's wild to see what the vision is and what reality is. And I think the thing that is continuing to keep us together and keep us as just a really great partnership. And it's so weird. I think about that from time to time. It's like, you're my friend. You're someone that knows me probably better than most, if not any of my other friends. You know how I operate when shit's not going right. You know how I operate when things are going great. And most friends will just kind of let you do your thing when things aren't going right, and they just want to drink with you. We've seen each other really operate under stress. And I believe the beauty is when shit was not right And when things go wrong, we've never, and I would stand on this. I mean, I'll burn this motherfucker to the ground before I let it ruin a relationship and burn everyone's, families and stuff like that. It doesn't matter. But we've always gone, okay, how can we do this different?
Yeah, there's never like an ounce of quitting, failure. It was always just, my bad, let's get it together.
Let's move.
Won't happen again.
And it's never, and I don't even remember, maybe there are those times where, we mess up individually, but I've never felt that when I mess up that there's any sort of like grudge or anything that's there. And I never feel that. Like if there are mistakes, it doesn't matter because it's us as a team, but I've never really set it up. We've never set it up as necessarily that culture. It just has permeated the culture of the company. It's always just,
and we had the hire who was so me driven. I need this contract. I need to manage me only. And it didn't last long. It has to be we, or just because, I mean, we are so lean, we are so small. It's not one person who is withholding information for their own benefit so that they can come out and do it. It's just, hey, what do you have? What can you do? How can we help? And
we're a we company. Right? If it's we're only going to produce the stuff that we like to look at for our clients, then we're going to last only as long as our clients like the stuff that we do that we like to look at. But when we're going through the proposal process, we're going, these guys use this system. Let's see how we plug inside of this system. How can we make that better? And if the mentality is, I need this because I add this value, I understand. I mean, I understand the certain element to it, but you're just not going to last here.
Yeah, and it's that mentality is necessary in other companies, in corporate companies. I mean, and it's unfortunate, but it seems like he was doing that because he was taught that from other companies that he'd worked with. So it's not, I don't think it was any sort of personality trait. I think it was a personality
trait. His personality was dog shit when it came down to it.
I think there was elements of both though. I think he had probably been scolded or burned in other companies, and he felt like just more guarded, where we're so open with everything that we do.
Well, and I think it's because this is just for you and I, not bringing someone else into it. I think we had the balls to decide we were going to do it our way from the beginning. And our way is either right, wrong, or indifferent. I've been burned on the corporate side of things, but I only got burnt. Really, I'll just say I got burnt once at one company, and I said, all right, I'm done with this. I'm done with this. But if you let that happen, and then you let it happen again, and you just become scarred and battle hardened in the wrong type of way, right? Your coworkers are not your competition, right? I mean, you are your only competition.
That's such a terrible way to live too. I mean, if the people you're spending a third of your life with are backstabbers, or you feel like you have to have your guard up. I mean, it's so comfortable what we have, and with the team that we have too.
It's kind of a 21st century PTSD, right? And that's what they really are liking, what they really like in PTSD, and why they see a lot of most Navy SEALs generally don't have PTSD is because they're on the attack, right? They are going to a mission, they're facilitating it, but they know if something goes wrong, they've planned for it. It's the Humvee drivers. It's the people who are driving down the middle of the desert and they don't know if they're going to get attacked. Play that out into the corporate world. You don't know who's trying to stab you in the back for what you've got, but you know it's probably there. It's a very realistic, I think, analogy to the modern day warrior.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why he did it. He wanted to be on the offensive end instead of the defensive end. He wanted to have all the cards in his hand, and I mean, he'll probably figure it out and be successful with that, but just not with us.
Yeah, just not with us. And I think we look at it all the way through where, we're not where we want to be ultimately. We're on our way. I feel like these past few months have been very fun. They've been very stressful and fun. And we've learned a lot. We've learned not to not to get complacent.
Yeah, we had one of our driest months followed immediately by our most successful month.
Yeah. I think about it almost every day. And I don't think about the dips and valleys, because I know you do. I know you, because anytime we get that next little hit, you're like, oh, and that's our mindset difference, is like we close one, close another one, close another one. You're like, okay, but we need to make sure let's not dry up again. I'm like, no, fuck, we're rolling, man. Let's be here. Let's go here. And that's where I think there's a good balance, is my mindset just goes, okay, well, we're just going to keep doing this without thinking about, well, that just happened like yesterday, so I see that as a difference, but getting back to a point that we made previously, is when it is dry or when it is difficult, and the challenges we've gone through over the past couple of years, it was always, all right, we're not where we want to be right now, but we have visions of what we're going to be. We don't know exactly what that vision looks like exactly.
I have very little, and a lot of people ask, like, what is the goal? And it's just that way.
Yeah, up and to the right. Up and to the right. That's all I really...
Maybe that's not even the right way to look at it. I don't know. But it's just been our mindset the whole time. It's just, we're going to continue to grow together into a point where maybe there is a decision we make sometime in the future about changing or selling or whatever it is. But I mean, it's never been a goal of mine a physical goal that I'm reaching for. It's just kind of sprinting to nothing, really.
We're just going because we're going to have to start over again anyways. If we do something else, if we sell out or if we do whatever, we have to start back at ground zero. And I think there's an element of comfort of just knowing the sprint, knowing the run, learning the groove, getting into the process, starting to become great at certain elements of what we do. That's very fulfilling.
I think one goal that we both kind of share is utilizing this engine that we've built for our other things. And I mean, you use it in the shop. I'm starting to use it in like side hustles that I'm doing, but using our team and not taking them at all out of what they're comfortable with, everything that they do, we just can facilitate new projects through it. And it's almost like having this just tool in your back pocket that you can call on when you need anything for a startup or an idea that you have.
Well, and it goes to a fear that I had. My fear is, I think everyone runs through this through their life, is how do they want to be remembered? And I don't want to be remembered as the marketing guy. Oh, Brandon, yeah, he was a marketing guy. That's not who I want to be remembered as. I want to be remembered first and foremost as just a great father, as a good person, someone that people enjoyed being around and working with. Just full stop. And what we're doing to build off what you're saying is we're building these things that require us to work with people we enjoy being around, that we make impact in other people's businesses and life. And we do it through marketing, but it's about setting up the team and about doing something that's bigger than ourselves and getting people who are better than us and not having an ounce of, oh, they're better than me at that. No. You do what you're better at. And we are setting up this cool little network.
And it inherently makes you a better father because you're hanging out with people that you want to be with every day. And we've had issues with that where we've hired people who just brought a negative energy in. And I mean, that was I just remember that being some of like the most stressful months. And there were times where we would meet up and we'd be having a good, healthy conversation, and then that person would come in and just start nagging about something, and we would just throw our AirPods in and couldn't continue the healthy conversation we were having.
Yeah, it's a cancer, and the cancers come in silently. Cancers come in wearing a smile. And it definitely was, and it's not until it metastasizes that you realize, oh man, everything's changed. And I've seen it here. I've seen it where come in with a smile and everything's good, and then you start hearing, once I pull up and see the car there, I just keep driving. Like, oh. Yeah. And there is an element of bitterness that does not exist with, I think, who we're sharing the conversation, but just because I delivered a knee to his grill and and shot him a couple times, gave him a couple right hooks, and that seemed to clear up any bitterness I had.
Yeah, I never had that though.
No, so I completely look back and go, no, we're all good.
No, it's cool. I got my shots in.
I got my shots in. He was not a contractor at that time, so, but sometimes violence is necessary. I don't know.
Sometimes violence is necessary.
I mean, it is.
That can be the title of this.
Sometimes go local group Unfiltered. Sometimes violence is necessary. You just meet violence with violence. That's all there is to it. There's no, you're going to be violent. Oh no, I'm going to be peaceful. No. You're going to get a reaction back. But I don't know. I don't know how that segues to anything.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
we'll talk about grandma's cooking again.
I don't know. I just, it's a good time of life.
Mm-hmm.
It's
exciting. Well, I just love going back to what we said was we're getting to a point where we have the team who we can rely on, except for this week when two of our core members are on vacation together, Mike and Allie.
Goddamn
we
you.
miss you so bad. Please come back.
You had to learn so many systems for the
I
first
literally
time.
had to learn how to schedule emails and social media and fill in all these gaps. And that's a pain point in operating in a small system is when you do lose one person, you lose 25% of the organization or whatever it is at that time. But you guys are missed if you're listening.
Come back.
Please
just have your baby and come back. No, and I don't know, from the amount of people, what I'm surprised, and maybe this is a Dallas thing, maybe it's a 2021 thing, but everyone seems to be hustling. Everyone who wants to hustle is hustling. Mm-hmm. And those who don't. It's a very
Dallas vibe too. I do love that about this place. I haven't lived really anywhere longer than a month or two outside of my hometown. So this is really my only other place where I've really left any roots. And I do feel like there's a hustle and grind vibe that is hard to find at other places.
Mm-hmm. And just getting to a big city. And Dallas is so unique because it has, and I tell people who are outside of the city, Dallas, to me, if it had good climate year round, this would be the biggest city in the world, in my opinion, because it has
mountains or any water or any sort of outdoors,
just anything, and it would be the biggest city in the world because it has good people. It's big enough to have everything that you want, but nothing super touristy. It has professional sports. It has a great thriving business economy. The suburbs are exploding, and you're seeing more and more people who can grind and start their thing and develop a dream. I
think Frisco more specifically is, when I moved here, the hustle and grind mentality of Frisco, Dallas is a little more of the $30,000 millionaires and
more showy.
There's a little more show there. But Frisco, people get it here, and people are moving here because they get it, and it's thriving too. A lot of the younger crowd is coming out to this area, and I just remember the first few times I came up here or down here, I just remember thinking like, damn, does everybody think like this? And maybe it was just the people that you were surrounded by and that you were introducing me to, which was a lot of clients and Mayor Cheney for one. So it's like,
right.
I'm getting in with the good people instantly, but even just your family and the barbecues and the fish fries and the stuff we did outdoors, everybody's just talking about their new gig, their new hustle, and drinking $1,000 bottles of wine. And
yeah, that's a whole different thing. That's many bottles of that, and that wasn't us, by the way. That was somebody else. You see that a lot here. You see that there is something, and there was a certain time when I looked at it, because you have the grind mentality, but then you have the housewife grind mentality where they have some extra time, but they want to start a business, they want to start this. And I looked at it a while and it's like, I didn't know how to feel about it until until Ale was in that position where I'm working, trying to provide. And she's at home with kids, but then also doing the same thing.
There's so much of that here. Cause I mean, it is such a family oriented place that like so many of our clients are couples, and like our one you just got off the phone with today is a new couple that we're very excited to work with and has built a great foundation here in Frisco. And I mean, the Cheneys, the Millers.
Yeah, I mean, you've got DeBellas, a lot of that stuff on the real estate side of things, but you just see that mentality of maybe not everyone wants to have a $1 billion company or even $1 million company, but they just want to work.
Yeah.
They want to do what they want to do. And if they make a couple grand a month and it helps, there it is.
Yeah, it feels like you rarely meet somebody who's doing something that they hate here. Everybody's kind of doing a passion project or something that they're just, they were put on this earth to do, it feels like.
Yeah, and I commend Christy Cook with Big Blue House. When she sat down and she's walking us through these building plans of this 15,000 square foot coffee shop and community center, and I'm thinking, how is somebody going to get funding for a $20 million coffee shop? And right now it's basically in like a portable at a school, but she has kids working it, and it's the beginning of something. And that mindset is so cool. She just said, screw it. I'll go with the architects that designed AT&T Stadium.
Yeah.
Talked him into doing the plans for free.
Just seeing that glisten in her eye, and I was like, she's going to get this done. Like, she's going to figure it out.
I think that might have gone.
Oh, we lost it.
And we're back. For those of you who are just watching tornado films, that's the reality of production. Is there's a lot of things: mic stands, XLR cables, microphones, into the body, into the card, into the computer, into the camera, batteries, card, and that's just for us to sit here and have a conversation.
Busy loves shooting podcasts. Also, I think if anybody's looking for somebody who will do it for very cheap and drop of a hat, if you want to do a podcast in 5 minutes for $30, just hit up Busy.
I'll do it for a spam sandwich with government cheese.
Maybe that section just needs to be busy, sitting, government cheese.
That could
with
be
the chef hat.
That could be like his promo for our next coming cooking show. It's like, stay tuned for Busy's Cooking in the Hood.
Unfiltered, you have a podcast Unfiltered. We need to do that.
Yeah, the Unfiltered podcast.
I haven't made real Kool-Aid in like 20 years.
Really?
A packet of Kool-Aid and sugar and all that. I haven't made that because all the new.
Wait, what do you mean and all that? Because I feel like that was the ingredients.
No, well, I guess
It's water, purple, sugar, right?
Exactly.
I moved to Frisco and discovered Neo.
Busy.
Now, so I don't know about a packet of Kool-Aid.
Busy is bougie now.
Very much so. I bought a Frenchie, like all that. Yeah.
Oh, he did buy a Frenchie. Do you want to come over?
I didn't buy a Frenchie. It was a gift.
Do you want to come over here to the mic and give some examples of how bougie you are?
We'll say that. That's our next video.
Next Unfiltered with the three of us. No, let's back up to where we started, where we're going. Where do you see us a year from right now?
I think having an expanded offering, and I think a big thing that we're putting more emphasis now on is not working with people that we already know and getting just building a sales force that keeps stuff coming in, building something that our offering is so specific that they can go talk to anybody and sell it, and then we just start closing. And that's one thing that you talked about. You're more so just let's go, and I'm more a little focused on those peaks and valleys. How do we mitigate any of those dry times? And I think that's a big shift in our mindset, because we're usually at capacity off word of mouth, which is I'm assuming incredibly fortunate and one of the greatest like just reasons for our success is because we are in these towns that we're talking about that are so business driven. We know so many people who are constantly talking about it.
Well, and it forces us to not make a liar out of somebody.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
But it's weird. I was talking about how I've been thinking about the peaks and valleys of it, but what I've really been thinking about, I dove into talking about mindset change or differences between the two of us. Where my mindset really is this weird connection to the power of the universe. And what I mean by that is let's hit the sales road. Let's start opening doors. Let's start talking to people that we don't know. Let's start seeing, and I'll be fucked if it wasn't the next week. Everyone we've been speaking to,
random numbers calling us.
Boom. And we're talking 6, 7, 8 people. And in our industry, that's a lot of people to start having real conversations with. And it's probably more strangers than we've seen in the past couple years.
Yeah.
But people who either maybe know our work and have gotten here, know somebody, it's kind of that second degree of separation from people. But once we decided, okay, we're going to start selling, all of a sudden we just started selling.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I wasn't going to knock on doors. Hey, you guys need marketing today? It just started happening. I'm not a real believer in super woo-woo things. What's it called? That Oprah shit, the vision. I think that's what it's called, right? The vision, where you put up your vision board and then the world is gonna bring it to you. I can't remember what it's called, but I'm not a real big believer in that. But
that's what happened.
But it's pretty woo-woo what's happening. We need new people. The manifestation. But now it's, okay, let's open the door. We need to start running through our process when we don't know them. How do we tighten that up? And here we are 90 days later, and we have a really cool sales cycle. We know what this looks like. We are starting to see what happens.
What is your 1 year from now?
Mine's a little bit more numbers based, and I feel confident to say I want to be at certain numbers because I know our ethics are not going to be chasing the dollar. Our ethics are going to be doing the right thing. But I want to be to the point where we're anywhere from $60,000 to $70,000 recurring revenue monthly, with a number of clients that make that up, with about a 50-50 split of retainer clients to new work that will then turn into longer term projects. And I think it's entirely possible with the direction we're heading and how we're layering and how we're being smart with our projects, where we don't take a $30,000 project and do it in a month. No, we're going to spread that. We're going to do that right. So even though they are projects that are there, we can layer those. We can execute them right. We don't have to have 3 people hog up I don't mean hog it up, but they don't take up the entire production flow and the entire output. But we can put that in a longer, nice layer of ganting that allows us to continuously put that together. And I've just been so thrilled and so excited to see your comfort level of the re-quoting process, where you make it very seamless to go, okay, this is done. What's next? Let's have this conversation. Okay. And you're already re-quoting what is about to come up versus, okay, project's done. Let them go dry. Okay. Let's re-hit them and resell them. It's this nice, and thankfully, the work that Busy's doing is making that it's a very easy conversation to have.
It's an easy sale.
So to me, that's where I want to be. What that team looks like, I don't know. And it's not an overly ambitious goal, but it will take some work to get there. And ultimately, we've wrestled with that idea of what's the end goal of this. But to me, I'm enjoying there not being one. I'm enjoying the ability of, okay, we don't have to prepare to sell the business in 5 years. So we've got to get the books to where they are and to this and track it and do this, because that's going to require me to spend a lot less time with my family. But right now we have this healthy flow of growth, of execution, of doing things right, of building our processes, our teams to have a healthy life that we continue to grow. And where it goes, it goes. But I'm just not, I'm not able to give up this time away from family that's going to go away. You know, and the moment that hit me the most was about a year and a half ago when my grandma sat in my living room. I think I've told you this, but my grandma sat in my living room, and she had my dad when she was 16. So she was always a very young grandma. She was always cool. She still is the coolest person ever. But she sat in there and she looked at her great-grandchild, or 2 great-grandchildren, and she realized her time is up next. And the look in her eyes, and when she just said, "It goes fast. I can't believe it. It just goes fast." And the uncomfort, the discomfort that she felt physically to like, I've got to get out of here almost. That realization went, capture everything I can. Enjoy all the time at work. Enjoy the people I'm around. Don't give anything up, and do not let the family slip. All of those moments came very clear to me in that time. And to me, a year from now, I find us in just a slightly, I would say more stable structure. And I think we're getting there. I think we're showing these glimpses of what we're eventually going to be. And it's very humbling right now in a good way. That, wow, we're putting in work, and I think we're getting somewhere real. We always said we're just always 2 steps away. I feel like we're maybe a step away, and we'll continuously chase that. But I love chasing that carrot. It's just,
we're lucky to be doing something that we genuinely like, and it doesn't feel like a job every day. And that's what I dig about it. It feels like more of a purpose than a job. Then it's like, we're doing this because we want to be.
And other things will pop and other things will happen. I mean, Harley in Danger could rip and take off. And just that understanding of, there may come a point where one of your side hustles, you have to come to the team and to all of us and say, I've got to go this direction. And we're going to go, yeah, I got you. Or if biz comes to us or whatever that is, it's tough to think about now, but it's this genuine drive for the people in our organization to succeed in whatever that is. It's like there would be an element of pride where if you go, yeah, Harley in Danger it's just too big. I'm going to take more of a high level view at this, and we're going to put an operations director in. Let's growth. You know, we're all going to grow, and we're going to look much different in 5 years from now.
Yeah. Well, and I think everybody who's at ground level with us now has hopefully got the same idea, mindset, and I know that with Mike and Allie that they want to have ownership in it. They want to have, they want to be able to move into those higher level positions with us and just be able to approve that we're putting out great work, and the culture hasn't changed, and everything is still just the way that we set the foundation. And I mean, yeah, we don't want to be working 60-hour weeks forever, but I mean, at the time, it's kind of what it is.
But we're young. Young. We're at that time. We got to work. We got to put it in. And it's honestly tough from time to time to see. You hear the 25-year-old that he just built this company, and they're making $2 million a year, and they're just busting it. And at times, if you compare yourself with it, you feel inadequate. But when I take a step back and I realize I'm building purpose, and we are building what we want to be. And we didn't get in this to build it, make $2 million, cash out, be on the Forbes list of 25-year-old millionaires. It's now ultimately, it's just we're continuously inventing and reinventing who we are, what we do, and it's just a fun ride, I think.
Yeah.
So let's just keep on riding it.